What's up, everybody? Andrew Mahone here with Tricky Jim at Full Grip Games. Gonna be playing a game on PTCGO today, and today I'm rocking Blacephalon GX. Very popular archetype here in standard format. It's been doing really well on a regional level, been also doing well at our local events. We held a League Cup here at Full Grip Games over the last weekend. It was a huge success, a lot of fun. We streamed it. Hopefully you guys were able to catch some of the stream from my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/TrickyJim. If you haven't checked that out already, please do. I've done 3 streams so far, but they've all been a great time, and I'm going to start doing that every single week. So, I mean, multiple times a week. It's going to be a thing that I'm doing, working on getting established as an affiliate right now, but it's kind of just a step-by-step process that we are working on. If you weren't able to catch the stream live, I uploaded it to YouTube, so hopefully you were at least able to tune in to some of that. I know it's a long video, it's like 5 hours long, but it was a really rewarding process for me being able to broadcast an entire event like that and just switch between the commentary, face cam and the tabletop footage was just a big feat to pull off, not just from a technical perspective, but also I just have never streamed that long. So that was really gratifying as well. We got ourselves Blacephalon here facing down and Inkay. So you can see I still got the Zebstrika in my own Blacephalon list. I really like that. I'm just going to let loose my opponent. That might not be the most responsible thing to do, but we're just going to hope that we draw into a supporter. And we did not, so that's fine. My opponent doesn't actually have all too much going on, so I'll just burst GX here. Take that. We got rid of the beast energy. That's fine. Oh, do we get to accelerate that? That's insane. I thought it would only accelerate basic fire energy, but it looks like discard one of your prize cards. It's an energy card. Excellent. I've never actually run into that. The beast energy has never shown up on my Burst GX, so I was expecting that to not work, but it did, which is insane because I'm actually threatening, a knockout on this Inkay next turn. I am threatening some pretty big maneuvers here with just my active Blacephalon GX, and we're gonna hope that we draw off the top here. If not, I can still actually just knock out an Inkay with Mind Blown, but my opponent is going to get this Deoxys into the active position. Crazy stuff. I could have gone in with a Lele for Cynthia that turn 1 there, but my opponent's going to let loose me, so that's fine. I just, sometimes I like to go for the Marshadow early in order to just limit my opponent, and then obviously if you hit a supporter off the let loose, it's very good. I felt like, shuffle draw 6 wasn't going to feel that good. My hand was kind of cloggy, so I just was kind of going full greed there, which is admittedly not always the most responsible thing to do, but sometimes it just is like that. My opponent's only got 1 Malamar in play. I can easily just Ultra Space for a copy of Poipole here, and then Sophocles. I think that we're going to be discarding the Ultra Ball and the Beast Ring, and this is why I don't like Sophocles quite as much as Cynthia. Just gets you into these weird hands, where you just don't want to discard this stuff, but it's fine. Draw 4 is always powerful, so we'll take it, and then I think I just attach my energy for turn, and I can Mind Blown, I think, and knock this thing out, just discarding 2 or lost zoning 2 energy, knock out the active Deoxys. I kind of like that, leaving the beast energy on the active. So I'm going to do that. Just Mind Blown the active Deoxys here. Let's get rid of the fire energies. And kaboom, that thing's out of here. 130 damage, awesome stuff. So we are keeping pace even with a suboptimal start here. Got that Ultra Ball, I'm kind of gripping in my hand. Next turn I'm going to go for Lele and actually play a draw supporter, something that we wish we had done maybe on the first turn of the game, but it's all good. Blacephalon, just such a consistent, hard-hitting archetype. There's very few ways to actually mess it up. We see my opponent scoop there. Blacephalon just very, very aggressive, especially with that Burst GX, just taking the prizes early on. Even if you don't have a board set up, all you need is a Blacephalon in the active position, and you're taking a guaranteed prize card. The synergy between Ultra Space and Mysterious Treasure just makes the deck all that more consistent as well, which is fantastic. Beast Ring too, just so many options for this deck to draw cards. All right, now this time I think I'm going to be a little bit more responsible and actually go for the Tapu Lele. That's fine, even though I would love to just go for Marshadow again. We'll be reasonable and get ourselves Tapu Lele. I've got Mysterious Treasure and I've got the Ultra Ball, so this is going to be a fantastic start from us here. I am playing Ditto Prism Star 2, which I really like in this list because it can evolve into Naganadel or Zebstrika. I love getting Zebstrika set up in this deck. In fact, I'm going to go for the Ditto Prism Star now because that's one of this deck's, major kind of issues is that sometimes you just don't set up or you don't draw the cards you need when you need them. So we will go for I think now that I'm looking at the hand, I want to go for a Lily, so I should have Mysterious Treasured away probably the Beast Ring instead of that Ultra Space in case my opponent countered it next turn, but that's okay. We'll just Lily here and draw a ton of cards, all of which are a little bit, but that's okay too. We've got everything we need here, and then we could just rock and roll on to my opponent's turn. Next turn I will have one Naganadel in play, and they just scoop it up. I mean, it looked like they were probably playing a Metagross deck, so they weren't going to want to face whatever I was cooking up over here with Blacephalon, and this seems to be one of the major Blacephalon issues. I feel like the last Blacephalon video I did as well, players are just scooping it up like, nope, get me out of here, this is too aggressive, I don't want to deal with it, but that's just the deck, and that's why it's so good. It can just run people off the table. Now, we did see Alolan Ninetales GX, Gardevoir GX win the last regional championship at the hands of Jimmy Pendarvis. That was an incredible list. Still is. The ability to Sublimation GX, a Blacephalon GX just for minimal effort to be able to wipe a Blacephalon off the board clean with that Ninetales is incredible, while you build up things like Swampert and Gardevoir on the bench, both of which can also knock out Blacephalon GX. Not to mention, actually hitting 230 damage is not an easy task for Blacephalon. That is kind of the upper ceiling of what you want to be hitting. We only play 16 Fire Energy. Don't actually want to have to Lost Zone 5 for one Pokemon. That is asking quite a bit. So we've got another incredible starting hand here. Honestly, couldn't ask for anything more. We're gonna Mysterious Treasure for Poipole and then go Ultra Ball for the Ditto Prism Star, and we'll Lily for 7 with Ultra Ball in hand. Perfect starting hand. Couldn't have actually asked for it to be any better. This is perfect. And then even Lilying for 7 with the 1 Ultra Ball left in hand means that I know that I'm going to be able to get Pokemon or whatever I want next turn. And this is just absolutely perfect. We can Ultra Space for another copy of Poipole here and just be off to the races next turn with Heat Factory and then Ultra Ball for Zebstrika, and we're sprinting out of this hand. So that is incredible. Let's just do that. We could get a Blacephalon. It looks like I prized a Poipole, but that's okay because 2 Naganadel should be enough, and we'll attach our energy for turn and be ready for next turn. Next turn, I can Heat Factory first, see a bunch of cards, then Zebstrika out of the Heat Factory. Let's see what we're playing against here on my opponent's side, though. Always interested when I see an Energy Evolution Eevee. What way is my opponent going to pivot? It looks like they could be playing a Glaceon deck, though. As we see over there with their deck box, a Glaceon deck could be a little bit troubling, but I'm anticipating that I'm going to get turn 2 200 damage. So not actually all that concerned. We should be totally fine. Here comes a Glaceon. Yes, I will not be able to use GX abilities, but Blacephalon, he don't have a GX ability. He just does a ton of damage. So that should be a-okay. I don't think that my opponent will be able to Frost Bullet this turn, so my Blacephalon is safe, at least for the time being, and then next turn we're just going to Mind Blown that Glaceon right on out of here. No problems whatsoever. Okay, so we've got the double Naganadel. We definitely Heat Factory right here so that then we can see some different cards to potentially help us get that Zebstrika, like I said, and we do. So this is great. We've got double Naganadel. We know we got Fire Energy in the discard pile. I can Ultra Ball away the Guzma and the Marshadow here, and then I can get the Zebstrika, and I'm going to be able to Lily for 6 in order to hunt for that other Fire Energy. I think I just Rescue Stretcher the Marshadow back into the deck to allow us to get the full draw here, and we're seeing 10 cards this turn minimum. There's just like no way that we don't find a Fire Energy that we're looking for. I don't even need to sprint this turn. We have everything that we need, so I can just double. Let's see. We want to attach for turn, double charge up, and we're just going to knock this thing out. That's fine. That will leave me with like no energy in play, unfortunately, which is why the energy switch is just so good in this deck, but that's okay. I'll attach the beast energy actually, and then just go in, charge up. I should not have attached that beast energy. I don't know why I actually did that. But anyways, this thing's going down, so we're just going to roll with it here. It should have definitely just been the regular Fire Energy. I kind of caught myself slipping there a little bit, but let's just let loose this thing. And we'll go from there. At this point, I'm so far ahead, though, just by taking this knockout, that it doesn't really matter what my opponent does. We just get to Mind Blown here, get rid of these 4 energy, and just obliterate the Blacephalon GX. Hello there, opponents. Hello. It's always fun when sometimes midway through a game an opponent realizes that they might be playing against me or something, and I think that's very funny. It's like, I at least anticipate that. I think that's what's happening, right? Is they realize that they like recognize my handle or something, and then they're like, oh, hello, with the smiley face. That's very funny. That, or they're just being very kind mid-game. I don't really know. But we do see a Horsey come down from my opponent there. Very intimidating looking Horsey. Looks like my opponent might be playing a Glaceon Kingdra deck. Now, I'm not exactly sure what the Kingdra does, but at least this next turn I can burst GX while I rebuild my board. I get Sophocles as well, and we see that Sophocles is just better than the Lily here, being able to discard those Fire Energies out of my hand. This is fine. We got a Zebstrika in the active now, which is a little bit of a pain, but that's okay because I'll just sit back and kind of build up my board position while we try to get energy into play. Oh, and the Horsey is sniping my Blacephalon now, so no bueno there. Let's just Heat Factory, see if we get ourselves a Guzma or something. We do not. That's okay. We'll charge up at least once there and charge up again onto this guy. Then I think we just have to attach to a Blacephalon and pass with the Zebstrika in the active. No real other way to deal with this, so that's okay. I don't need to sprint this hand. I think I'll just Sophocles away a Fire Energy and probably the Ultra Ball. I probably don't need both of those. And now we've got some new cards in the hand, so that's cool. Let's just pass it to my opponent. Big old hand here. We are just on the hunt for a Guzma to get myself back into the active position. Having Zebstrika in the deck is something that you have to think about, I guess. But, you know, Marshadow has the 1 retreat cost as well. So it's not like Zebstrika is any more of a liability than the Marshadow is. Playing a 3/3 Naganadel line does like kind of limit me in some ways as well. It makes it a little bit more difficult to get 3 Naganadel into play, which is really what you need sometimes in order to keep the pressure on throughout the course of the game. So that's something worth considering too, but really the deck does rely on B-String a lot to accelerate energy, not just Naganadel. So you are kind of sitting around waiting for your opponent to take a knockout so that you could just overwhelm the board. It does have some issues kind of sprinting ahead into the lead and just staying there, especially if you don't get 3 Naganadel into play. You're going to have to kind of sacrifice a bunch of energy and then rebuild for a couple turns. But that's fine, because now that I'm ahead, there's really no way for me to fall back behind. I've just got a handful of B-strings, and we'll be able to get that energy, loaded into play here. Now, the dream draw here is just Guzma off of the Heat Factory. That's exactly what we want to see. We've got 3 B-strings in play. Like, goodness, we are ready to go here. Let's just see if we can get the Guzma. We got the Guzma. So let's just bring up that Glaceon again, and that Glaceon is a goner, unfortunately. Here we go. Gonna charge up a couple more times, and we will take this thing out. Fortunately, I also get to leave 1 energy on the active Blacephalon, which is always what we want to do so that we can stream attacks here. No need to sprint. We're good. Let's just mind blown take this thing out. We're going to take 1 off here, and then 2 off this bench, 2, 3, and then 1 here. So that's great. We get to leave 1 on the active Blacephalon and 1 on the bench Naganadel. That's our ideal state there, so that if the Blacephalon doesn't get knocked out this turn, then we can attack with it next turn. If it does get knocked out, we still save 1 energy. That's why we don't leave 2 energy on the active Blacephalon. Now, my opponent does have this Alolan Ninetales with the barrier, which is a little bit frustrating, but we do have our final Guzma in hand, so it's not a problem. We can just burst GX in front of the Ninetales if we have to, and then next turn, Guzma for game with a Naganadel potentially on a Horsey or something like that. Still interested to see what that Kingdra does. We've been working towards that Kingdra all game here. Let's see. All right, we've got a hand so big, my game is starting to glitch out on us a little bit. Let's just charge up on the bench, and then I don't actually have the energy that I need in order to charge up anymore. I don't actually really want to play any supporter cards either, so I'll just burst GX and take a prize card. No problems with that. And then just save this for next turn. Next turn, if my opponent actually knocks out this Blacephalon, they activate the B-string. I've got tons of B-string. I've got all 4 B-string in my hand. So there is no way I'm playing a supporter card. We're definitely just going to sit here, let my opponent take this knockout. Hopefully they do find a choice band in order to take the knockout so that I can just B-string Guzma, and that will be game. That would be our ideal scenario here. Still back and forth on the Zebstrika. I like it a lot. I think that Zebstrika is just a very powerful draw card. It feels very strong to put into pretty much any deck. So let's see. Especially Blacephalon, which loves to discard energy, right? And I think that finding B-strings can be one of your the biggest holdups of the deck. So giving yourself an extra out to find a B-string always feels good. Now, we just don't have it right now, so I just have to wait. There's no point. I mean, it would be so silly to try and sprint for a fire energy. Let's see, how many do I actually have in the deck? Like, do I have a lot? Unless it's guaranteed. 6 fire energy in the deck. So I'm saying that there is a 4-card combination that does not win me the game. Which just is unnecessary. I don't need to do that. Even if I get this Lele out and sprint, I would only sprint here if it guaranteed won me the game. And it doesn't do that, right? There are 5 non-fire cards, so I can't actually afford to do it. I can't Guzma then sprint. We are just going to Bursting Burn, which does nothing. Yeah, there we go. Very good. So we're just going to sit here and actually just be patient, wait. There's no reason to rush. We're chilling here, waiting for my opponent to take this knockout and activate B-string so that we can go on and knock out a Horsey, something like that. But maybe we'll get to actually see there's the Kingdra. Very good. It's a very cool artwork too, by the way. It's got like an Azumarill there in the background. Very cool. Tornado Shot. Discard a water energy from this Pokemon that's attacked, does 30 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. That is pretty rad. So my opponent has activated my trap card. Unfortunately, here we go. We got 4 B strings in hand. So we'll just go and accelerate those onto the people that we need to. We'll just do it. I kind of want to win with the Naganadel, so we'll win with Naganadel here. And then we can Guzma for game on the Horsey, knock it out, turning point for game here. And good game to my opponent. Awesome stuff there. We'll play another game real quick, see if we can get another good game with our Blacephalon deck. I've seen a bunch of different kind of variations of this deck running around. Some are playing the choice helmets like Zach Lesage did in the top 8 of that regional championships. 2 plasma freeze packs. Anybody want to open 2 plasma freeze packs? I think we could get something good. Let's go take a look, see what we get from our 2 plasma freeze packs. All right, we got 2 here. Let's crack them open. Very good. We got 1 here. I think the Golden Ultra Ball comes in Plasma Freeze, so that's always the hope, right, that you get a Golden Ultra Ball. I love Primate. Primate, I feel like, has not seen his day yet. I really wish he had, though. We got, a Mind Jack Absol. That's pretty cool. That card was very good back in the day. Dark patch to it. Very cool stuff. And it was kind of like a, Mind Jack Zoroark. Just with a basic, and you had to attach another energy to it. All right, unfortunately, no Gold Ultra Ball today. That's all good. We're going to play one more game here on PTCGO with Blacephalon. But like I was saying, some decks opt to play the Choice Helmet, some lists opt to play Choice Band, some lists opt to play Energy Switch, and some lists are playing 4-4 Naganadel, some lists are playing 3-3. There are a lot of different variations going on right now. I do prefer kind of a max consistency list. Some lists, like I said, we're playing Sophocles. Some lists are not. I do like to try and maximize consistency. They didn't even get to see my Blacephalon yet, and they just scooped it right up. So we are on a 4-win streak, working towards that Cabalion EX, the coveted Cabalion EX at the end of the ladder there. So very cool stuff. I don't know why it always is that people are scooping when I play Blacephalon, but hopefully Luxio 420 doesn't scoop here. Hopefully he's in for the long haul. We got a pretty good starting hand. Excited about this. Blacephalon GX in the active position. Ultra Space for a Poipole, an Ultra Ball probably for Lele to just draw more cards. So this is very, very strong here. My opponent's going to be going first, but that's fine because I can turn 1 Burst GX, which doesn't bother me all too much either. Now, I'm immediately kind of spooked out by what's going on over here. We got a Ghastly, which never seems good, right? Ghastly, Crushing Hammers. What in the world are we facing on my opponent's side of the field? I don't even know what a Gengar does, to be honest. I would have to, that's one of the readers. You definitely, whenever your opponent reveals it to you, you just pick that card up and you read it as soon as it comes into play. Now, I'm assuming that this deck has something to do with sniping. It probably also has Shrine of Punishment in it. Yes, it does. So that was going to be my thought. The Gengars are unfortunately Psychic typed and not weak to Psychic either. They're weak to Dark. So that's not good for me either. Let's start out by countering that for sure. Going to get a Poipole into play. I think that, let's see, did I have my Zebstrika in the deck? I don't have my Zebstrika in the deck, so we'll get Poipole here. We're definitely going to Burst GX. Let's Ultra Ball away to Fire Energy and get myself another another Poipole. Very good. And then we did top deck the Cynthia, so we are cruising here. That is fantastic. Cynthia draws 6 cards. And we got another Blacephalon, though I don't necessarily want to play it. I can Mysterious Treasure away that Blacephalon, though, and get ourselves another, supporter, or get ourselves another Poipole. That would probably be for the best. I think I'm going to drop the Blacephalon. That feels fine. And just get ourselves another Poipole so that we can get as many as possible into play next turn. Now, I do have to kind of worry about the snipe damage, so maybe I shouldn't have gotten that Poipole now that I'm kind of taking a look at what my opponent is doing over here. Probably should be wary of the whole benching Pokemon thing, but I do want to just be as aggressive as I can with this active Blacephalon and be able to get as many Naganadels into play because I anticipate that I'm going to be attacking with them. So that is always rough. My opponent, no Haunters or Gengars yet, so that's good. Let's Ultra Space. Fortunately, that Ultra Space did stick, so we get to find ourselves our first Naganadel. Then we will Cynthia, and then probably just Mind Blown this active over here. We only have, no, this is not good. We did not hit another Mysterious Treasure or anything like that. So I have to, Mind Blown 3 energy. I think you just have to do that. Yeah, there's just no alternative. But that's unfortunate because we needed another energy in order to continue to leave one energy on the active there. So that's really what we wanted to do. We did not want to have to remove all our energy from play. This is why that energy switch is so good. People are talking about playing the energy switch in the deck, and I think the more that I play with it, I probably am realizing that we just need to have at least 1 or 2 copies of energy switch in the deck. So I'm kind of coming around to the idea that I was not super on it at first, but definitely feeling it the more I get hands on the list. So let's see here. Not a ton of stuff we could do. We could Guzma up a Ghastly. We could Guzma up an Oranguru. I don't mind that entirely. And then Bursting Burn it or something. We'll just confuse the active. That's just what you do when you're in this situation. I saw hammers in my opponent's deck, right? Like, I am kind of sketched out about putting that beast energy down. Then I think I just let loose my opponent as well. How many fire? I only have 1 fire energy in the discard pile. That seems bad. Let loosing my opponent doesn't seem super fantastic, but no, we're not going to Sophocles. Yeah, we're just going to do this. Now, I could have attached the beast energy and Sophocles away that fire energy in my hand. That, would have been fine. We do have a heat factory here. I guess that's probably good in case I do draw into a fire energy off of this Cynthia, so we want to let that rip for sure, and we do finally see a fire energy, so that's fantastic. Let's do that, and we're pretty much good to go. Let's charge up twice, and we'll confuse this Tapu Koko, and that will be that. Now, excuse me for having no idea what is going on my opponent's side of the field here. I just, very original deck we see. Will Bursting Burn. Bursting Burn is something that this deck ends up having to do all the time just because you do have those turns where you have to, remove all your energy to Mind Blown a target. You kind of get on that back foot. And Energy Switch, like I was saying, just helps you keep that momentum running. If my opponent got a double colorless energy or a counter energy, they're just going to retreat the Tapu Koko, no problem, into their new Tapu Koko. But I'm not sure that my opponent is keeping enough pace here in order to take me out. They have to find a shrine for sure to counter my heat factory. They want that out of there for sure. They did get the shrine. But at this point, I think Blacephalon's going to be able to take 3 prizes, maybe even 4. And when Blacephalon can take that many prizes by itself, that's just very good because I'm going to have the Naganadels here to kind of clean things up afterwards, especially next turn when I get to Turning Point for 180 damage. You can bet that, if there's a Gengar in the field, I'm going to take that thing out. That or just chase my opponent's energy as well could be a valid move for me. We're seeing tons of Ghastlies and Haunters. Still no idea what their deal is, but that's fine. I don't actually mind the 20 damage on the Tapu Koko either because it makes it easier to knock out with Mind Blown too, so that's okay. This one hurts though, I'm not gonna lie. This is starting to feel a little bit sketchy as far as my benched Naganadels hit points go. Not super into it. We don't have any fire energies in the discard pile, so I think that we have to just Mysterious Treasure one away, which is cool. We'll just Mysterious Treasure one away to accelerate one time. We can get the Let Loose guy. No real point in Guzming anything up. I think we just attach to the active, charge up on one of these fellas, and then just hang on to the hand. I can B-string next turn. That's okay. Let Loose next turn. There's no use doing it quite yet. So let's just Mind Blown. We'll get rid of 1, 2, 3 fires. Getting rid of 3 fires on a Tapu Koko is just such a feel-bad situation. We really wish there was some way to do that 10 extra damage without, lost zoning an entire fire energy, but that's just the situation that we got right now. So my opponent's going to be looking to Flying Flip for sure. I'm assuming that the Gengar does something that manipulates damage. This is what Gengars have traditionally done. So that could be sketchy for me. This Poipole is just like one step away from getting KO'd also, which is, of course, no bueno. My opponent does have the Ultra Ball there, the Enhanced Hammer. See, I knew that they played Hammers. I didn't want to put that Beast energy down because I knew they played it. So they're going to Ultra Ball and probably get themselves a Gengar if I had to guess. Nope, Tapu Koko. They're going to take their time getting the Gengar out into play. So at this point, the anticipation's kind of killing me. I really just want to know what the Gengar does so that we can all just see it. I wish I could pause and look it up, but I can't because I'm commentating. It's just we're in the middle of it right now. Can't do that. But it looks like Flying Flip's about to get the best of me here. They are going to take out the Poipole, bring both my Naganadels up to 80. One step. Oh, no. They're going to Electric Ball. So didn't see that coming. Let's just, okay. They double attached Electric Ball. I don't think that I need to, I can knock out the Oranguru this turn. I think I have to actually knock out the active. That thing's got too much energy on it for sure. So we'll just put that Naganadel there in the active, and we're going to B-string, I guess. So now that I'm looking at it, I could have B-stringed and then attached to it's all good. Okay, so we're going to B-string for sure and put some energy all over the board. So we'll put some energies on this guy. We'll put, probably have to get ourselves another copy of, I need to save that Rescue Stretcher for sure. I think I need another Blacephalon in play, definitely need another Blacephalon in play. So let's Ultra Ball away the Lily and the Ultra Ball here and actually just get myself a Blacephalon. The Ditto Prism Star just seems like way too much of a liability to put down right now. That thing's not going to make it. Let's B-string onto the Blacephalon, and then let's B-string onto the Naganadel, I guess. And that's okay. Or I guess the you really got to spread the energy out, because if my opponent does a magical swap thing, it's pretty much going to be all bad. They have 180 damage in swap, so they can't knock out both Naganadels, so that's very good. But they can knock out my Blacephalon, which is not good. So let's just let loose. We have to knock this thing out for sure, so let's just do that. 4 cards, that's excellent. So we will definitely play the Ultra Space here. I don't think that I actually have the other Naganadel in deck. I do not, as I suspected. So let's just Lily this turn, and then next turn we can Sophocles if we need to. Not attaching that energy, I just don't have to, and I know. Let's see, we charge up? We can charge up over here. So let's charge up over here onto the bench. And we'll Turning Point the Tapu Koko for knockout since I'm at 3 prizes. So good stuff there. 2 prizes remaining. Still a little bit sketchy. My opponent's at 4 prizes, and I know they have enough damage on board to go down to 2 prizes by knocking out my Blacephalon. If they do that, then I have to Guzma back-to-back, maybe Ghastlies or something. But we do see that Crushing Hammer fly down. I know that they played Hammers. That's the first Hammer we've actually seen them play, though. They're going to escape rope. I think I just want to put up another Naganadel because I don't really want to offer them anything else. The Naganadels are easy retreaters. I am not trying to get hit for more damage than is necessary on my Blacephalon. But we do see another flying flip. So they will take a prize on the Poiple. And at this point, I have to be very concerned about the well-being of my my Pokemon. Yes, this is definitely starting to get a little bit suspect. So I think we just knock out the Tapu Koko with the Blacephalon. We just have to do that. So we'll retreat into Blacephalon here, charge up on the bench, and then we just hope that my opponent doesn't, just wipe the board with me. I think we could go get the Ditto Prism Star, but that could allow them to take 3 prizes, so I'm not going to do that. If they magical swap, let's see, they have 80 plus 80, that's 160, and then the 20, that's 180, plus 40 plus 20, that's 60 more. So actually, they are 10 damage short, I think, of being able to win the game next turn with Magical Swap. So I can't put down any sort of little Pokemon. Definitely not Ditto Prism Star. That's not going to work. So we just kind of ride the wave here. Let's see, the Poiple's got 70 hit points, so I don't think that we could put the Poiple back into play if we draw into it. That's fine. I'll just do this. The Sophocles feels okay. Just to see a little bit more cards. I do have a B-string available to me. I could B-string onto a bench Blacephalon just to make sure that I have enough energy in play to win the game no matter what. They don't have enough to knock out 2 Blacephalons, so we'll just do that. I might be out of energy. Yes, totally out of energy, so that's fine because I have Guzma in hand anyway, so I will just attach that energy to the Blacephalon. And we're going to Mind Blown here. So let's just Mind Blown 1, 2, 3. Okay, that's what we're doing. The Tapu Koko's out of here. And I should be able to Guzma for game next turn if my opponent doesn't win. I don't think that they quite have it, but let's see. They are promoting the Mysterious Haunter. Let's see, can that Haunter get them there? They also have Magcargo, so I know they're going to be able to smooth over and stack whatever they want into their hand more than likely. But, the real question is just, are we going to get to see Gengar? Or is this just here for the Haunter? Pain Amplifier. Put 2 damage counters on each of your opponent's Pokemon that has any damage counters on it. This thing might just be here for the Haunter. It might just be here for that, in which case my opponent is, very close to winning. They're, in fact, a couple turns away from winning. They had to have a couple more flying flips hit these Naganadels. That just would have gotten them there. I think the one turn that they, potentially, you're a little bit short. Potentially the one turn that they did the electric ball, if they had flying flipped that turn, they might have won the game, but then they might have just been 10 damage short, I think, on these Naganadels. So tough stuff there. Oh, there is a Gengar. What's he do? Whenever your opponent attaches an energy card from their hand to one of their Pokemon, put 2 damage counters on that Pokemon. So that's cute. Okay. So it just is kind of like a flying flip. Gengar, my opponent is counting things, and I'm sure that they have realized that their magical swap is just 10 damage short of winning them the game, which is sad indeed. That is honestly just one more turn of Shrine and they win the game, but that's just how it goes sometimes. Fortunately, we were able to kind of outrun my opponent with Blacephalon here, and they just didn't have it. So we can just go ahead and Mind Blown for game 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's not BMing, it's stunting, like I've said. So here we go. 7 energy and a loss on 350 damage for game. Good game to my opponent for sure, and very creative deck. And that was a very interesting little run there with Blacephalon. So that is still a work in progress. Honestly, I think that the energy switches could be very good. I'm not sure that the Zebstrika is needed. I think, in fact, the more that I've played with it, you'll probably just play a very straightforward Naganadel line and just maximize consistency there. So you'll probably take out the Ditto Prism Star and the Zebstrika, as much as I like them, and just go to a 4-4 Naganadel line. If you're playing a 4-4 Naganadel line, you can pinch a spot on Rescue Stretcher. And then, this list is looking very similar to Zach Lesage's list, except I think I like 2 Let Loose Marshadow. And then you have room to play like 1 copy of Energy Switch. So you could just go in with that. And then that's probably closer to ideal for what I'm looking for. I think maybe I want 2 copies of Energy Switch, in the deck. So we could pinch 1 more card, but I'm not exactly sure, what that would be. Maybe the second Marshadow can go for a second Energy Switch, and then you probably just have a very straightforward, aggressive list there. And this is probably like the ideal of what I'm looking for. I'm not totally set on Sophocles yet. I don't think I like Choice Helmet all that much. So that's I think Choice Helmet's not super needed. But anyways, super cool deck here. Obviously a very strong and proven archetype. Just sharing my kind of ideas on the finer tuning of the list here at the end. Still got to do some more testing with it though. And as always, thank you all so much for watching the video. Make sure to like the video, sub to the channel, ring that bell. Check out the Etsy store and Patreon stuff in the description below. Peace.